All right, good morning. Today is Friday, December 20th, 9:47 a.m. Still don't have my car. Still don't have a desk for work, so we've been using the kitchen counter. Don't have chairs. I need my car to pick up stools and things like that. I really don't want to order anything online just because I'm someone that's impulsive and needs things right then and there. So wanted to record this because I'm in the process of signing up for Apple Business Manager. For those that don't know, I run a creative agency, and so we are in the process of scaling, growing the team. Part of the new year 2025's objective is to equip our team with the right tools they need to execute at a high level, training, yada, 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 the works. But I figured it's something I didn't know about, and if you are on the similar path, journey, employees or purchasing products with the intention of giving it out to people, what are some things you should consider? So our top editor, he's been using his unit to get a lot of the work that we provide him, and it's been working. But we're at a point where we realize there's an opportunity for him to execute at higher pace, higher level, higher quality, so on and so forth. So we picked up all the hype around this guy, the Mac Mini. So right now, my intentions with the Mac Mini is to set it up. I don't have a monitor. Actually, I do, but it's not convenient. But I figured I'd document the process of how I'm going about it, what I'm looking to do, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And yeah, again, mentioned, still don't have my car. I have all my tripods in the car, so this would definitely look a lot better. But again, working with what we got. So as of right now, I am setting up a Apple Business Manager account, and I'm also watching a YouTube tutorial on how to set this up, because in life you probably don't know how to do certain things, and that's why we watch videos. Yay. I just had coffee, probably gonna need another one soon. I'm feeling good. So I'm gonna set this up, and then you'll see my setup process for this Mac Mini. Why am I signing up for Apple Business Manager? Well, because this device is company property, we want to make sure that any of our employees, hopefully in the long run, stay with us, right? And in the case, again, as a business owner, as someone who's experienced small bit of life, you realize your intentions are good, but not everyone has the same intentions. So for security purposes, to protect the company, I want to put a layer of just safety. All of our employees have to sign an equipment release form, or they understand that they're borrowing equipment. This is company property. They need to return it if they leave the company. But again, that's not enough, especially when you're sending a device overseas. You're not there to pick it up, at least not urgently, right? It's a fucking 24-hour flight. So what my thought process is to not only have the equipment form as a level of understanding what the dynamic is, but also to have a fail-safe in the case any employee that uses this device, they want to keep it, they want to do whatever with it, sell it, resell it. Apple Business Manager, to my understanding, allows you to lock that device, and also allows certain sign-ons you basically need company credentials. So every employee has a Evolve Frame email, so they would, whatever's registered to that, my assumption is I'll be able to manage it and see it, and it doesn't incentivize someone to steal this, basically. So yeah, man, just protecting your assets. We just set up the account, and yeah, I'm gonna learn about it and then share my setup process. Quick update, it's 10:30 right now, and I've been watching a bunch of different videos, and there's a lot of language that I don't necessarily understand. One thing I did understand is they're talking about IT specific. I know a little bit about it, went to school for IT for a little bit, so I have a basic understanding and knowledge, but it seems like Apple Business Manager is meant for obviously businesses that have an IT department that they can outsource or get to do this. So time is money. We're all about efficiency. So what I plan on doing is basically going to, I reached out a while back looking to lease certain devices because I wanted to see how much it would cost. If it made more sense to lease a super high-end piece of equipment instead of buying it. But due to Apple's latest innovations with the M4 Pro and all this, fast speed stuff, it just made more sense to buy the product outright and not waste money on leasing. So when I did reach out, which was earlier this year, they had told me about an MDM, which is called Mosyle, Mosyle, and basically what it's the managed. Let me find out what the fuck MDM means. A mobile device management, basically. So, like I said, it manages your device. So I'm gonna reach out to them because I noticed, if you look here, they have different options when it comes to pricing and all that. This is basically what I'm able to do, the monthly rate. So for these different plans, like the premium ones, it looks like you need it's probably hard to see, but long story short, you need a 30 license minimum. So this is like for companies that have 30 devices and they're looking to put the software on all 30. We have two technically. So we're gonna try to reach out regarding the business free because that only lets you have enhanced device management, which is all we really want. Endpoint security, I got to figure out what exactly that means because that's only available on the highest version. So I'm gonna set up a demo with them, get some more information, and then go from there. This is typically what happens. I have an idea and I try to go through with it, and then reality hits me with, okay, it's not as easy or as smooth as you thought it was going to be, but it's all about, well, what action can we take? So that is the next steps that we are going to take. So I still have yet to set up this thing. I'm like a little kid on Christmas. Like I want to just open it and set it up, but I want to make sure I do it right. Mosyle, or Apple Business Manager, set up a thing with Mosyle, which is the MDM, and basically have an onboarding meeting on the 24th. Oh, I hit legs yesterday. I'm sore. So what I'm doing now, because of course, why wouldn't it be easy? I'm downloading footage from the shoot from yesterday. Shout out to the team. And basically, this was uploaded via WeTransfer. For those of you that use WeTransfer, let me know, because I'm having issues right now where I know in WeTransfer you can't select the files that you want to download. It's a giant one download file size. It's 173 gigabytes. So AT&T came in today basically to fix my shit. Now I'm getting upload and download at like 900 megabytes, right? Because that's what we're paying for. But the issue was that it'd be going, and then midway through or a quarter of the way through, poop out. So every time I did this all last night on that 100, I was getting the 100 megabit. But now that I'm getting the high speeds, I'm still getting that same issue. I thought it was going to be resolved. It's not. So what we ended up doing is, shout out Armando, he uploaded all the footage to our Google Drive. So now I have to download one by one the Google Drive footage. As you can see here, it is basically going one by one just to ensure that there isn't any interruption. So it's, instead of it saying 3 hours for the whole thing, it's now saying 5 minutes. This is my setup. Oh, my bag just fell. This is my current setup right now. I'm on a pillow and basically just got my laptop on the floor. I have no desk yet because my car is not here, and I want to buy a desk, but I need a car to move it. But yeah, this is a monitor that I was going to set up the Mac Mini with, right over there. But this is what we got, folks. This is what it's like to move out and figure shit out. But it's all part of the process. So yeah, just gonna bang this out, go one by one and download it, and then start to Basically, I go through the coloring process, make it one giant file depending on the type of video that we're creating, and then I upload it so that way our team has access to that file, the 4K version. They download it, and then they can start to edit from there. So there's a nice process. I'll maybe cover it in a later video, but yeah, that's part of my job. All right, so since we're at the mercy of the internet and we're waiting for each file to download, it's about 12 o'clock right now. About to grab warm up food, actually, because I made it yesterday. So give you a sneak peek into the diet. Got sweet potatoes. Got stir fry-ish. This is basically just ground beef with sweet peas and mushrooms. And yeah, I will be tracking. Oh, I ordered my scale. It should be coming in today or tomorrow. But as of right now, we're gonna guesstimate and just eat in the meantime. Almost forgot the most important ingredient, healthy fats. I don't know about important, but this is crack. Yes, we're eating on a paper plate because we have no utensils yet. Or I mean, I only have plastic utensils and plastic plates. I have stuff in the car that's supposed to ship yesterday, but we're waiting. We adapt. That's what we're dealing with. So I'm in the process of watching this video, right? And what it basically prompted me to realize, I like to watch while I eat, just watch stuff. And basically, I realized, like, set goals, you know, the whole document thing. My brain's, and this is where I don't make as much progress, is when I try to juggle too much things at a time. My biggest flaw or challenge is being more intentional, being more focused, having clear intention and setting aside a certain amount of time to execute. That is where I am most efficient, and I want to do that as frequently as possible. I do it from time to time when I need to like lock in, but I want to be more consistent with it. So watching this video as I'm sitting here, and you know, I was listening to music at first, as you saw, and then now I'm like, all right, let's learn something. I never watched Ali Abdaal. I heard of him. I had been recommended to watch him, but this one video, it was like how to actually achieve your goals in 2025, evidence-based, gave me a few context points where I was just like, like this makes sense. When we used to do this indirectly without knowing. So basically all this to say, my plan was initially, and still is, still downloading, to download the footage and then get editing. But I think the biggest, most underrated time you can do for yourself, at least right now, like what's the best use of my time right now in this moment, is planning, is setting up for 2025. I'll be honest, a lot of my days are, what are we going to tackle today? Who's notifying me? Let's address this. Let's do this. Let's all this stuff, right? Jeez, let me mute this. You know, I had made the video. I wrote down the goals. But then what isn't tracked isn't measured. We got to track this progress. So I had my goals that I wrote, and I also wrote, like, in my opinion, I like it's yearly goals, right? I didn't have a set deadline for it. I mean, for some it's self-explanatory. Some, like me doing a Murph every single weekend, I have to wait for 2025 to be up in order for me to have achieved that. But other things such as revenue, get a little bit more specific. So I had mentioned I want to cross over 200K in revenue in the business. Well, how do I plan on doing that? What do I plan on doing on a quarterly basis that's going to help me achieve that? And then from there, I can find out what I do on a monthly basis that will help me achieve that. And so one thing the video talks about, which I need to rewatch, is just how am I tracking these metrics? But at first, I have to write them down. The power of writing goals down. To recap my interpretation of it, it's just that there's a study that shows the people that didn't write their goals down versus the people that did. And our brain just needs to be constantly reminded, what are we searching for? And the more that we can do that, the more that our brain will instinctively, it's called RA, or I forgot the phrase, But what it basically does is it allows us to not focus on the things that aren't the goal. So thoughts, distractions, all these other things happen in life, happen to me all the time. But if we have a system or we have a routine where every single morning I'm just waking up and looking at my goals, I'm reminded why I'm doing the thing in the first place. I'm reminded, am I doing my best in this area? Am I making the most amount of progress? And if not, what can I be doing in order to be on pace to hit that goal? So what I'm gonna do now, once this is all downloaded, I'm gonna finish watching this video. I'm at 9 minutes and 17 seconds. It's a 15-minute video. I'm gonna finish watching it, and at the same time, finish downloading this stuff. It's about, I would say, halfway. I'm gonna go down to the co-working space. My objective for today is to really execute what this video is telling me to do, which is basically just writing out my plans and tracking, have stuff in place to track. Longer than expected. I was just about to head out to go to the co-working space, and then I looked at how many files I had to download left and the speed that it's going at. It's probably not gonna be for another 20 to 30 minutes, and I just don't wanna sit around and not do anything. So, got a good old iPad here. Gonna basically just jot down the goals. So, my plan, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna watch this video. I'm gonna try to follow it to a T on implementing exactly what is being discussed, what is being mentioned. So let's do it. About writing the goals down, which we have. So this is one, add another. So these are gonna go in line with one another. I think these are fairly good goals so far. Yeah, we just have to dive into more specifics. So step one has been completed. We wrote down our goals. Now let's move on to the next one.
It's to actually look at those goals that you've written down every single week.
So as part of that, number 2 habit, look at them every single week. This is very in line with what I picked up in Brotherhood. Shout out John Gab. Basically, he says the frequency you see is what you frequently see. And it's this idea, we all operate with frequencies. I've talked about it in the past before, but if you are operating in such a high frequency, you can't help but look at life in such a positive way. You can't help but look at it in an enlightened perspective, versus if you're in a lower frequency and you look at life, you just see the negative in everything. So this is super, super real, super relevant. And so that's definitely something I don't do, especially having something like this where I'm just constantly updating it. I'm using different notes app, I'm using Notion, I'm using Google Docs for different things. And it's great that I at least jot it down versus never having it. But now my biggest focus going into the new year is actually looking at them and being reminded every single day of what we're setting out to achieve. So I'm gonna put here review goals every day. I already know what he's gonna talk about next, which is more reviewing it. How often are you reviewing it? And the thing that a lot of people think about, including myself, where it's like you gotta review it, it's like you gotta spend 10, 20 minutes fucking here. Like it's as small as 10 seconds is what Ollie talks about. So I'm definitely gonna print these out, because I found that having a printout, whether it's on the fridge, whether it's right in front of my bed, so I am forced to look at it every single morning, that is gonna intentionally trigger the goal association. So yeah, that's just my interpretation and also note on it.
It's every single week when I do my weekly resets.
Let me just check this download. Alright, so where I'm at right now, from what I understand, he uses an app that allows him to update every single week. I like to use Notion for something like that. I think it would be a good platform to do it. I just have to build it out. So that's part of what we have to do here.
Put a little emoji of like yellow or green. Green is it is on track. Yellow is that it's sort of a bit off track, but there's a plan to get it back on track. And if it's red, it's like off track without a plan. You can also monitor your progress in any which way you like.
Monitoring your progress progress is going to be ultimately having some form of KPI or key metric that will give us feedback if we're on track or not. So it's very simple. Murph every weekend for me is an example. That's going to be something that I check off once per week type of thing. And as soon as I hit it, I'm done. One new book every month. So depending on the book, so right now I'm reading Principles by Ray Dalio. That has about, I believe it's 11 hours left. And I did the math. I basically need to read an hour every single day in order to hit my goal for the month of December. Even though this is a 2025 thing, I want to start fresh or sort of start with a new book. So as of right now, because of the length of that book, I have to read an hour a day, every single day to track if that's on track. So I'm making sense of these things. Right here, I have traveled to a new country. So it's like, how can I track progress? Well, I could start putting a fund together and start budgeting just money towards a specific trip, set a goal with a certain amount, and then I have to hit every single week a certain amount of money that I'm putting into that account or that goal. So that could be something I can do here. Again, I'm coming up with this thing as I go. Run a marathon, I could definitely set the date and then come up with a training plan for that. Ironically enough, my uncle sent me something for April, the Spartan Ultra, so I might look into that. But one by one, let's do this. Let's go into just modifying this goal here of one book per month. With this specific goal in mind, that would mean I would have to read every single day. And this is where it goes back to, if I fall off track, let's say I miss a day, I'm able to go into yellow, have a plan, which is just make up that lost day, and then I'm back on track. So let's actually update this, because I didn't do that. Paste. Boom. All right, very cool. With traveling to a new country, one thing I've set for myself is your boy's not doing economy anymore. And it's not a thing where, I just it's a standard, right? Like we determine our own standards. So for me, if I'm gonna fly to this country, I'm going in first for business. So with that in mind, like I know for the Philippines, if I want, if that's the location, it's $5,000 just for the flight. So I would need $5K plus more in order to really live the nice life, right? Like we got the apartment. This is the standard that we set for ourselves. There are certain things we will not settle for, and that's part of the 2025 objective. So that's So one thing I want to touch on really quickly is the power of not only setting goals but setting specific dates. If your goal is to do something physical like this, like a marathon or a Spartan Ultra, like the hardest part is signing up, in my opinion, because that fire that it puts under your ass to like, hey, I can't miss a day. I can't afford to miss a day. I have to train today. That is what keeps you accountable. That's what keeps you on pace. Quick story, like when I was training for the COC, the martial arts stuff, the days that I wouldn't feel like going, but because I knew it was coming up and it was on my calendar or it was just top of mind all the time, I didn't have as many days that I didn't want to train, because going back now that I think about it and learning from this video, because my brain was set on that goal or I made that promise to myself, I don't look at those days as like, oh, I have to go train. Like it's one of those things, is like it's a non-negotiable. Like we have to do this in order to achieve this result. So we obviously didn't want to perform as much. We didn't want to perform horribly, so we made our effort. And in all honesty, the second time that I did it, I actually trained a lot less. I trained less intensity. I got caught up with work, and it just so happened where I still maintained a healthy relationship with my diet, with working out, and I went into it just being like, hey man, it is what it is. This is sort of the acceptance of I did what I could, and ironically enough, I think I performed a lot better than last year, because I became more familiar, so it was no longer the unknown. And once I became familiar with a certain feeling, I didn't have that stress or that anxiety. So anyway, all to recap for this specific goal is set the date. Like, part of what I'm gonna set as a hard thing is select date or race by end of year, because I'm gonna coordinate with my uncle, because I gotta get him to do this. Probably not gonna be the marathon, it's probably gonna be the ultra, but you know, we'll make that selection. So that is a goal. I'm gonna go a step further just to make sure I really dial this in. I'm gonna put it on my calendar. Sign up for 2025 ultra marathon goal. And the cool thing about this too is, like, I get the pleasure and honor of not just doing this by myself. Like, I know my uncle's down. I know Reggie. I throw him into situations where it's like, hey man, I got your ticket, you're joining in. So hopefully it's the same situation. But again, regardless of what happens, regardless of who's in and who's not, you got to get it done. You got to do it for yourself. So that's the mentality, but it definitely makes it a fun, memorable experience, doing it with people that you care about. So that is in the calendar. We're going to set this to 3 o'clock. One video every 2 weeks on YouTube, 24 for the year. So that is like the goal. So let's say if I don't hit the one video every 2 weeks, I fall behind, I can make up a video that allows me to do that. And actually, now that I think about it, same thing goes for the Murph. If I don't complete a Murph on a weekend, I'm gonna have to double it up. Whether that's midweek, whether that's the next day. So there's a lot of opportunity for modification, which gives me a little bit more, I think it's great to set these standards and set certain goals, but life happens, will happen, and we gotta be able to accept the unfortunate circumstances, so that way we can bounce back better, and if not, we'll surpass what we thought was possible. So that is that. Evolve frame, yep, this is going to be now, how much is that monthly? Let's do the math here. So if I were to just, and I'm gonna probably modify this as we go, because there's a lot of opportunities coming up, and I may hit that goal sooner, and just again, we at least have a North Star. So if I did 200,000 divided by 12, that would mean we need to be making 16, I don't like that number, we'll do 1667 per month, or let's just round up, let's put 17K per month. So that's what we would need to be doing in order to hit that. Obviously it's going to be more because it's not the actual number. Let's see what that is per day. So if it's 17,000 divided by 4 weeks in a month, that is about 4,250 per week. Alright, and let's go down to the day, just so we have these numbers to look at. Divided by 7? No, so we're only going to do 5 days out of that week, so 850. That's a pretty good dent. We made some progress there, and we'll, just keep monitoring and doing stuff. So I'm going to finish watching this
to make progress more visible.
This is the last and final piece of the puzzle, which is tying the goals to the identity. I basically am familiar with this. Same thing, Brotherhood Community introduced this concept where you don't say, I wish I was confident, or I need to become confident, or I want to become confident. I am confident. And through that, embracing the identity allows you to act, to basically perform the actions of a confident individual, if that's your specific identity you're trying to embody. So what identity do I need to embody in order to achieve all these goals? So that is successful business owner, a creative filmmaker, videographer, whatever I want to call it. This is probably the hardest for me, and I think for a lot of people, because there's that level of imposter syndrome or whatever. But I think spending quiet time right now, like I'm already getting a little like over this process. I know it's been like 30 minutes or so. But being in a right environment, which not only in this space is, but like right now in my head, I'm like, go to the workspace, have another coffee because we're out, have that thing finished, change the environment, and then just sit, play some music, and go through number 5. So that's what we're gonna do next. My battery is about to die, but I will probably update in either this video or in another video what final holy grail I created to reflect all these notes moving forward. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.